Katie, let me start with you. You are not your typical girly girl average,
No,
you know,
I wouldn't say that.
what we know, but you actually design men's fashion. How did that come about?
I've always tried different kinds of fashion when I started, and it was just that menswear kind of grasped me better because it just felt like the most natural thing to actually do. And like I said, I tried everything, and then when I started doing menswear, like a switch just clicked in my head, and I was like, no, this is what I'm supposed to actually be doing.
Ephraim, you've been making South African men look good for years now, and you have changed it up from better to best each and every single time. What are you offering this time around?
Well, what I'm offering this time, I mean, I've been showcasing at Fashion Week for 16 years, and this is my 32nd time I'm showcasing. So, and you know, celebrating 21st years of Fashion Week as well. So it was a beautiful memory, and I was looking back at what I've been offering over the years, and sort of like repackaging it, and then even moving forward into new silhouettes as well, but still not losing my aesthetic of the classiness, the fine cuts, and all that.
Yeah. Let's let the clothes speak for themselves.
Absolutely.
Right. Shailene, let's take a look at some of your stuff and what you have to offer. We have gentlemen in studio with us who are actually going to show our viewers your designs. Talk us through your collection and your influences.
So this collection is my winter 19 collection, and what I actually inspired me was exactly how I was feeling at that point, and I felt like I was going through a lot, and this was sort of a part of me that just wanted to stand up and be inspired to just like defend myself. So a lot of my pieces were like very dark and strong, and it was just something that I felt like expressed how I was feeling at that moment. And for example, the jacket is actually something that is in stores at Edgar's now, so it was just a great program that we got involved in, and I just needed to showcase it so people knew that they could actually find us somewhere.
And your guy is just so cool, so relaxed, so like Saturday vibes in the sun and just relaxing. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Ephraim, let's bring in your gentleman. And you've gone green here. This is so incredible. Like, you keep increasing the levels.
You know what? Over the years, I've noticed that fashion comes in and goes out, and but style and class doesn't go out of style. Class is just always. And what I did here is sort of a reinvention of menswear, and I did a lot of cutaways. And if you can see, like the coat, it's actually all different pieces. And then I sort of like went green by utilizing and reutilizing same fabrics that I've used before, and just basically going green and cleaning up the environment. The cut here is very modern cut, very classy, as you can see, but with a sophistication of twist on it.
Your gentleman is like, yo, who's that Abuti? Hey, can I just have a conversation here? And with him, that clean cut look. What has kept you going over the years, Ephraim?
You know, I think first and foremost, when Fashion Week started, there was no platform for showcasing any designer, so I wouldn't even known if it wasn't a Fashion Week. So Lucila's dream became our dream to realize our own dreams to come. And I realized, because I travel a lot and I work abroad a lot as a model then, so when I came back, there wasn't much for men to offer. And I realized that, you know what, I need really to start working on something else. And then that's when the fashion started kicking in. And because I love men to be different, and designing for men is very hard. So really indeed, it's just to come and grasp something.
So when you say designing for men is hard, what does that mean?
Because men are not easy to please, and they're not easy to adapt into something new. They'll always be into one look, and one look, that's it. So you as a designer have to bring something towards them all the time, entice them until they get used to it. And remember when men could never wear pink?
Yeah.
Now, when men could never wear
Look
flowers?
where we are now.
Here we go.
Right. And it was your work. You know, you also played a role in contributing to make sure that men feel comfortable in what is not the norm.
Absolutely. And I get chuckled when I see what international designers are doing now. So, but I did 10 years ago. It's only now they're bringing in. That means we are real fast in South Africa.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Shailene, we've got a second look. And again, this talks to just how quick things go behind the scenes. Hey, in 10 seconds, your gent was able to change and get into the second look. Talk to us about this one. He looks like he's about to fly out of a plane.
Yeah, so like I said, it was more of a whole military sort of inspired thing. So everything that I designed was like had straps, and so I actually didn't even realize it looked like that, but I quite like it. Yeah, so this one is more chilled back. This was like the looks could be interchangeable, and
Tell us about what actually inspires your collections, or when you think, you spoke briefly about how you were just feeling like you wanted to show your strength in this collection, but previous collections, is it the same style? Does it change all the time? Talk us through the creative process.
So every time I start a new collection, it's always based on what inspires me at that point. It could literally be anything. A previous collection that I did, it was literally runners who inspired me. And what I always try to stick with, though, is the basic essence of what my brand is. My brand is always edgy, the looks are always interchangeable, and I always get an influence of a Japanese sort of culture into it. So I try to mix that into what our South African boys are into nowadays. So that I keep my own identity, but I also bring in what the trends are that people are looking for.
You make it look so effortless. You make it look really, really effortless. Ephraim, we've got a second look for you. Talk to us about
what we did here. We actually went even younger, because we know what, we try to appease all the markets. So we go very old market, middle market, and young market, because we have to grow this market all the way to come to you. And then here what we did is very streetwear, very classy, arty streetwear, and really we're just inspired by the fabrics here and play around like different textures, but different. I mean, the shirt is the same as a jacket, but it's all different textures. The other one is more silk, and this one is more like a rough jacket, and it's very sporty. So we went sport edge as well.
Who would wear this?
Like I said, this is a young, teeny boppy young market.
I see,
but we've got those guys who still want to be young at heart, so they wear that.
And when you're wearing this, looks so comfortable. It looks like also it just breathes. Is this also part of the going green?
That's part of going green. Yes, it's very breathable fabric as well. Even if it's a new, it's more like a technologically created fabric, but it's very fresh and it's very new, and it's very breathable as well. And like I said, this is like for you're really outgoing young market, and I mean, we have seen camouflages before, but this is like a different camouflage.
Where do you go to find these brilliant ideas?
It's in my head all the time. I think I get inspired mostly when I see fabrics. I see a fabric and something just, you know, we can't explain creativity. I think it's one part of that is inserted in you that you cannot tell people how do you do things.
It's just in there.
Like we see every creative, when it's cars, when it's innovation, so it's clothing. So you always have to come something, and you don't know how it comes to you, but it happens.
Thank you so much for coming through to chat to us this morning. It was a great pleasure chatting to you, Shailene and Ephraim, talking to us all things a men's fashion.